and welcome to the final episode of our Living by Strategy here on Conversations with Nis. So, in the past couple of weeks, we have been looking at living by strategy. We started from looking at the importance of self-regulation or self-leadership, and then we went on to look at our mission, vision, and how that draws from our purpose. Today, we're going to wrap it up by looking at something that will help us bring everything together to ensure that day on day, year on year, we have a comprehensive plan that enables us not only to achieve our goals, but to stay on track with reaching our vision and eventually accomplishing our mission for life. It is what Professor Adei in his book, Living by Strategy, refers to as the self-management grid. It is important that before you get to this point of using the self-management grid, you should have come up with your organizing principle of life, which is your true north, because it gives you a grounding force, something to anchor you, sure that you're not moving like the wind or like the waves, unstable. So ensure that already have your organizing principle in place. Make sure that you have written out what your mission statement is, having considered carefully and come to the point where you know what your purpose in life is. And then, of course, you want to go ahead and write down what your vision for your life in the present moment is. And in the present moment, I'm referring to your present circumstances. In the next year, it could be the next 5 years. It could be the present season of life that you are in. And then, of course, you could also go a bit more long term and determine what your vision be for life. Remember that we have vision broken down into two forms. Our vision of being, which refers to who we want to become as people. Then our vision of achievement, which looks at achievements in different areas of our lives that we want to reach. For instance, our financial life, our relational lives, our physical health, our spiritual life, and so on. Once you do this, it gives you a very clear picture to help you draw and fill out this self-management grid and make it so realistic that you're able to live well by it. It would be unadvisable to go straight ahead into the self-management grid if you don't already have these other things in place. I find them to be foundational in drawing up a proper self-management grid that you are very likely to stick to and bring to life, because it will not be things that you write down or simply things that are wishful in their nature, but they will be drawn out of your value systems, your purpose, all of which influence what your organizing principle, your mission, your statements, and the goals that you eventually set are. Right? You could look at your principal roles, and by principal roles, referring to the things that you primarily do now. So for instance, if you're a mother, if you're a wife, if you actively engage in service in community, what role do you in that said setting? If you are a professional, what do you do in your role as a professional, whether you are a business person, an engineer, doctor, content creator? What role do you specifically play in what you are doing? That could also help you when it comes to creating the self-management grid. Now, this grid is very simple, but I think it's such an effective tool to help you, like I said, year on year, day on day, so that the things you've written down are not just big things, but they come alive in your daily living. So we've got area of life, and we are looking at physical, intellectual, financial, family, social, spiritual, and professional life. So those are the areas of life that we want to manage. The things we are going to be looking at to manage these areas of life are: one, what is the baseline? In other words, where am I when it comes to these different areas of life? And then look at what goal am I setting for this area of life? What are the strategies I'm putting in place to ensure that I'm reaching these goals? What are my key performance indicators or the target dates? What resources do I have that will serve as allies in achieving these goals? What challenges am I likely to face? Finally, what sacrifices, what actions will I have to put in place to ensure that I reach them? Now, personally, I find that if you do the self-management grid really well, you're probably not going to be worrying yourself too much with New Year resolutions every single year. I promise you. If you do this right, you will not be worrying yourself with resolutions every single year on year, creating new resolutions. No, you wouldn't. So quickly running through it, I'll take an example. For instance, physical health, that's an area of life. The baseline will be perhaps we're not exercising, I'm not eating well. Let's say that's the baseline. Then my goal is I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. Generally, I want to live a healthy life. Strategies am I going to put in place? I'm going to make sure that I take 10,000 steps every day. I'm going to be eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. I have fruits every morning. I eat vegetables with my supper and my lunch every day. Make sure that I cut out processed foods. Those are my strategies. What are my key performance indicators? My clothes fit better. Hello. It means something is working. The number on the scale goes down. Something is working. Then what are the resources that I have available to me to help me make this work? One, I can get a fitness coach or an accountability partner. That's an ally to help me make this work. Then what are the challenges that I am likely to face? So for instance, a challenge could be that I need to change my acquired tastes. If I'm going to cut out processed foods, acquired taste might be an issue. Two, I may have to wake up extra early to go to the gym. That could be a challenge. Then, what sacrifice am I going to make? I'm going to have to be self-disciplined to make sure this thing works. There we go. Self-management grid. Choose an area of life, and we have these other metrics by which we are measuring this area of life by ensuring that we have actionable plans. We are also taking into consideration what is going to work for us, what is going to work in our favor, what challenges we are likely to face, who or what we can enroll to help us. All of that comes together to help us. I promise you, if you do this thing right, if you use this self-management grid the way it is meant to be used, you will not have any need for year-on-year setting, because you have these key areas of your life that you are always working towards. If your intellectual goals change, all you have to do is put it there. At the end of the day, you have a system, a complete plan that helps you run things throughout the year. You can do this for a 5-year period. You can do this for a 10-year period. And then every year, when review it, that's what the grid looks like. And you fill it out. Let's see, I think we got a bigger. Okay, there we go. If you're able to get this done, it takes out the stress of sitting and trying to plan every single year. All you have to do is review it year on year. For the year, you'd also want to go back to it and ensure that you are on track and you are getting things right. You're doing what you said you would do. Make sure that you're also getting a budget in place for your finances. And then overall, in terms of goals for the year, could be as simple as this. Have all the areas of life, and then you set your goals for the area of life, and then you go into the self-management grid and you expand on it and make it very specific to the things you want to achieve for those specific area, the things you need to do, people and resources you need to put in place, and what challenges you're likely to face, what you would have to sacrifice, just generally considering all those things and then putting them in place to ensure that you are winning at life. Life is intentional. Success doesn't just happen. Living well doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional about it. That is what I have sought to help you do, even with this series of Living by Strategy. I hope that it has been of some sort of help to you in helping you create a proper structure, creating a system, and putting in place life policies that will help you. I am grateful that you joined me on this series. Help me send the word across, like the video, share it with someone who will find value out of it. And as always, go out there, walk on water, and do great things. Goodbye.